becoming everything. He would bring the world to unity, help everybody, repair what the Illuminati did and all of that. And they took him out, and they put him, even now that he's dead, they murdered him after inducting him into a child sex ring. They have what they call the all-seeing eye, which we all have entity attachments to within us. It's something that puts you together and helps you see things and all that. They have a physical contraption that allows them to be able to see, that works with technology coming from the third, the fourth, fifth, sixth dimensional planes, eighth dimensional planes, which is where your gods and all of that Buddha reside, to see what's going on. And so they could see the next thread, because they straight up corrupting up motherfuckers to their power, into their power source. And it ain't just Satan. It's a lot deeper than that. It's them lamb entities, it's aliens, even God's an alien. If you need spiritual help, you could just go straight to the Galactic Federation. That's not necessarily, but that's God right there in a way. You got interconnections to God. Your spirit, your soul. You ain't bound to just this. Not even the motherfucker that you living in that you make up. You can traverse that if you're powerful enough. With that being said, he was going to bring about unity. And I was shown that there was one timeline where he was allowed to live and do that. The rest of them kidnapped, raped. I don't even want to fucking see what the fuck he went through. I cut his head off. Just saw that through my third eye. They cut his head off. They tortured the shit out of his ass. Sold him into a sexual circuit and all of that, and it kind of reminds me of what happened with me. This is what I wanted to say. When I was growing up, my mother always used to wonder, you got so much talent, why the fuck you can't thrive as an artist? And it's because I got sacrificed to Jay-Z early on. 1991, I used to have those recurrent astro visions. 1991, before he blew up. And I'm going to say this right now. I remember seeing those astral visions. He had security and everything. And I'm going to say something right now. He sexually initiated that child, Blue Ivy. That's why she looks so glum. Into sexual slavery. Him and Beyonce, who looks like she under some type of MK Ultra. And she stole her shit from this young woman here, Pignot, I think her name is.
LaToya did an interview on the podcast R&B Money, and she said she lost her confidence because of what she went through in the group Destiny's Child. The group was called Girls Time. Prior to LaToya joining the group, she actually used to sing a lot on her own, and she had so much confidence when she was a little girl. However, when she joined the group, she lost a lot of that confidence, and to this day she still struggles to sing with the confidence she had when she was younger.
But my confidence was different back then. You couldn't tell me nothing. The one thing I knew I could do was sing, and I just wish I could get that confidence back. I would do anything to have that confidence back. And from there, I started being in the school plays and going out for the lead roles. You couldn't tell me nothing. And then somebody told me I was off. Once I started going to voice lessons, and I became a part of DC, it wasn't your local talent show no more. This wasn't a stage play. This was real. You know what I mean?
And how old are you at this point?
I'm 12. I think, to hear the other voices around me, and especially, we talking about B. Mm-hmm. I don't sound like that, Mom.
Right.
I don't sound like that. Ain't how I sound. Does that mean I'm not good, or does that mean it's just different?
Right.
And you start questioning, because this isn't me watching Whitney on screen anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right.
This is someone in my face, and I'm hearing the power in her throat. And I'm going, whoa. I know our tones are different. We're never gonna sound the same, but like I need to work on myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need to work on myself.
Yeah.
And I think I had a moment of, wow, am I ever gonna be good enough? So I'm gonna play my position that I've been given in this and take advantage of this opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And the position I was given was was soprano.
Mm-hmm.
So I just worked on that.
Right.
You found your lane.
I found my lane in the group.
Mm-hmm.
I played my part, but I played that part for so long that I never really put the effort to make the other parts of my voice, like to grow that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I was so busy at sharpening the soprano.
Yep.
So I became insecure in anything else. And to even hear my voice stand alone, because I'm just here for the harmonies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just here to play my part as a soprano in the harmony. The thought of hearing my voice alone again or being a solo artist was, oh my God, the anxiety.
When do you think you regained at least enough confidence to say, I can do this on my own?
That came later. I'm still fighting with that a little bit. People don't realize how the seeds that they plant, especially into children, the words that are said, even if said with love. And, you know, I think we got dropped from a label at one point. The rejection started early with us. After DC, I honestly didn't know what it was that I wanted to do. Everything was fun and all until I had to start performing live. Really? It got real. I would have panic attacks in the bathroom. I was scared to go on stage. My voice would literally be shaking. Like, to be out there alone by myself and not have my girls up there with me. You know, I didn't know how to play that off.
Now, when I first heard LaToya speak on this, I was like, there's a lot to really break down here, because she was talking about how as a child, her confidence was broken down. And I don't believe her confidence was broken down intentionally. I do think the adults around them wanted them to grow and get better. And in order to make them better and stronger, they put them through a lot of intense training, and they also gave them a lot of critiques. But LaToya was obviously affected by some of those critiques because she's still dealing with the aftermath of it to this day. Not only that, LaToya said something interesting. She did compare herself to Beyonce. Now, Beyonce was a great talent when she was younger. She was vocally gifted and she was very advanced as a performer. So it was really a no-brainer to push her at the forefront because she knew how to lead a group. She had the natural charisma and confidence and skill, and she was praised for her skill. Beyonce had a lot of encouragement and a lot of special training as well because she was the lead singer. Meanwhile, LaToya was designated to the background, and it kind of makes sense why she would feel discouraged because she felt like she couldn't measure up to Beyonce. And honestly, I do think she was made to feel that way by some of the adults in the situation. LaToya never went into detail about what was said to her, but I could imagine that they were saying some things to her that she internalized, and she's still dealing with it as an adult. Not only that, some of her group members made critiques about her voice as well. They kind of threw shade at her in a Vibe magazine issue. In fact, Beyonce said LaToya was like tone deaf. And Kelly added she wasn't even originally a singer. She was a rapper. So those words had to have really hurt LaToya. And around this time, Destiny's Child was going through their internal issues. So I think Beyonce and Kelly made those statements out of hurt. And they were also young as well. So naturally, they were going to be a little petty. But really, they were very upset that they were being sued by LaToya and Latavia around that time. And just to give a brief backstory, around this time, Latavia and LaToya were kicked out of the group by the manager, Matthew Knowles. The reason why they were kicked out is because They were trying to find another manager. They didn't like the way Matthew was treating them. And when Matthew found out about their plans, he had them removed. And LaToya and Latavia ended up suing Matthew and the group. So Beyonce and Kelly were dragged into the whole lawsuit, and they were upset about it. They were very upset, and that kind of gives context to why they said the things they said about LaToya and Latavia. And of course, years later, they made up with both of them, and Beyonce did thank LaToya and Latavia during her Billboard Awards speech.
I'd also like to thank the original members of Destiny's Child, LaToya Luckett and Latavia Robinson.
So they all set their differences aside. However, during that period of their breakup, there were some petty things that were said.
All of the bad seeds are now out of Destiny's Child. We've had changes in the group, and we finally found the recipe that is perfect.
We're vocally stronger than ever. On the next album now, everyone can sing lead, which is great, something that we've never gotten a chance to do.
When LaToya heard some of the statements made about her voice, she was very hurt about it, and it did affect her confidence as a singer.
My self-esteem was very, very low. Beyonce is very talented, and so I was like, well, I'm not sounding like that. That's not my thing, so maybe I can't sing.
After LaToya was removed from Destiny's Child, she went on to form her own singing group with Latavia and two other singers named Tiffany and Nadi. And the group was called Angel, but Angel was short-lived, and LaToya ended up branching out as a solo artist. LaToya's solo debut was surprisingly very successful. No one expected that she would come out with a platinum-selling album and a hit single like Torn, but she did. And she also proved to audiences that she could, in fact, sing.
Y'all better sing. A part of me says the thing we get through. A part of me says I'm a part of me wants to say goodbye. A part of me is asking why. Torn in between the two. Be with you. You alone.
I don't know. I never saw myself like doing this whole solo thing, and it's kind of crazy because I just never saw it coming. And we go at it about that, but I appreciate that about him because he wants me to sound my best.
Oh, okay.
I already saw that she wouldn't make no deal with them, so they gypped her. But I'm going to say this. See, the Illuminati is directly under the bathroom. That's a dark-ass energy. You don't want nothing to do with that motherfucker. It's not even materialistic. It's just dark. Kind of like how my life has been being under that, you know, dark and depressing. And that's all I've known. And what else I wanted to say? She's never... there was something else I wanted to mention as well. He an evil motherfucker in the astral plane. You know, they're very, very cutthroat about powers. You know, here's him meeting with that Marina Abramovich boy. I'm going to show you these messages here that I got a bunch of messages when I conveyed that very same message on Instagram. I had a bunch of motherfuckers actually threatening me with defamation, meaning what I'm saying is veritable. So, you know how they say that a clock, even a fucked up clock, can be right twice, 22, which is master builder. I actually saw that 22 in the number of one of the videos, parts of the video here that I turned off right before turning it back on. That means that there's veracity to what I was saying. And on top of that, I had a young woman send me a message saying that he murdered a woman who contributed to the existence of Blue Ivy. And I'm going to say something as well. He raped Rihanna. He held, let me show you the messages. He held Rihanna in a studio and made her have sex with him. It wasn't to make her sign a deal, but he likes power. He's from the getaway ass nigga, so he likes power. He likes the power that comes with being with him, so he took advantage of her. That's why when you hear that story of him making her stay in the studio, it wasn't what was conveyed, and that's why that girl acts like a dead shell of herself, like with Blue Ivy, who he sexually initiated. Let me show you the stuff that she talks about. She still has a major soul piece, which I'm quite certain he has, missing from that day.
Yes, he said, we don't sing songs here, we sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief. But then he said something about a window and a door or something. Oh, then he said, you did it homework. I did a lot of homework on you, Miss Lady. He said, there are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor. So you...
There's been a soul tie created, I believe, between me and Jay-Z as a result. But anyways, I saw on the spirit plane, going back to that August the 22nd, 2022 timeline, I keep seeing the Illuminati. As I say, the person who soul swapped me, sold me as a sacrifice, I'm conjecturing. I keep seeing them in my timelines, the royal family primarily, not the Rothschilds as much. They Jews, and Jews are more down to earth. I'm just going to say it like that. People talk a lot of bad shit about the Jews. My great-great-grandmother was an Ashkenazi Jew, even though I don't consider them the real Jews. They're Khazars. But, they're more down to earth. The royal family. I heard in that timeline they got rid of my brother, Kristen, and took him out. Line saw it as well that my parents got sacrificed. And, I'm saying all of this to say, and I'm going to sound schizophrenic as fuck, but, I'm going to speak my truth, even if it sounds crazy, and it's going to sound crazy. I saw in the spirit plane that my parents, from that timeline of being held hostage by him, you know, I had this sick old broad from her higher self, Maria Tavares, set it up for, you know, my family to be taken by them and held as sacrifices. It's the highest self. It's a woman that don't like blacks and saw what I had and wanted it, and wanted to take all my blessings and everything, and was disseminating it to Mexicans and spirit plane and all that. That's what I saw. So Trump had all that shit. But anyways, as protection. But anyways, with that being said, she had set it up for my parents to be energy slaves to Jay-Z. Like, the way it works is it's kind of like with the curse I have. It's not uncommon for politicians, like when you hear somebody famous mysteriously dying, and a week before, like with Christopher Case, you know, the well-known story of a guy who succumbed due to a witch's curse, you know, and surprisingly, the woman was into Sumerian shit, Mesopotamian shit, and all of that. This woman, what I wanted to say, you know, the way my curse works is they put roach attachments. Oh, usually when you hear of a famous person dying or something, you know, mysteriously turning up dead, and they didn't do anything, it's because they put roach attachments in your consciousness. And it's Illuminati level. Like, that's what I got in me. I take that back, not Illuminati level, but some real deep, dark occult shit. With that being said, the way it works is they put roach attachments in these people to kill these people off. Now, you can use 7,000 hertz and or 1150 hertz to get that shit off. But they're very sentient. Ones I hate to say it, you know, that's why I entertained them at the beginning of the curse. I'm funny as fuck. They telling me about shit and educating me about shit, but you know, you don't entertain me, because it's gonna fuck you up. Like, I remember hearing a story about a guy who heard voices in his head. When you get a compromise of your consciousness like that, I don't care how nice that shit is, you got to get rid of it, because it's going to fuck you up. They would tell him the lottery numbers, you know, the winning stock in the stock market. He was a stockbroker. You don't want shit in you. You want to fuck with shit that's outside of you, because it's like your body. This is why a lot of people say that when you're in the physical vessel, you're protected. It's like military barracks. Within, internally, is supposed to be protected. When you have a compromise going on that's no longer protected, that represents the incoming of external, the enemies of the enemy. That's what I got going on. So anyways, they put these roach attachments in people's heads to kill them, and kill them quietly, and make them look like they went crazy, when they actually, in fact, didn't. That's what happens with a lot of curses. A lot of those are, you know, when you start seeing shit, roach attachments. 7,000 hertz, 1150 hertz. If it's demons that you're dealing with, raids. Look, I'm going to say it right now. If you're dealing with demons or raids, those are usually people who once existed, play 3517 hertz or 3571 hertz. I did that with a raid once to revive them. That's going to put a spirit body back together. You can also use 117 hertz combined with 800 hertz, which could give life back to the dead, physical dead. And that can, because, you know, this is why, like, people who are enemies will burn your bones, and even that can't get rid of it. Entity attachments of your ancestors and all of that lives in your body, down to your bones, everything, molecules, atoms, all that shit. DNA, spiritual DNA, you can't get rid of that shit. With that being said, I'm going to say this right now. You can use that frequency to put a spirit back. You can use that frequency to put a spirit back together. So no matter what, you're not totally without. You know, I call it heal them spirits. At the least, you can also use 125 hertz, 1185 hertz to free them type of demons held in, hell realms. But mainly you want to put them back together. Also 156 hertz to free motherfuckers from spirit jars. And I'm going to say this. If you want to go between dimensions, I just had an idea. Put two mirrors together. I did it back in my old apartment in Miracle Mile, and I actually saw what was going to be the state of my future dad. I was told that this entity by the name of Alex Nascimento put my poor father in a hell realm once he got taken out of his body, and had him getting feasted on and eaten on by giant cockroaches. Now, with that being said, the reason why I'm saying that is because with the Illuminati, it's different. What they'll do is, just like with my curse, they take and transfer all of your entity attachments within you and put it in their head, in the person who put the curses on your head, so that they can feed off of you as an energy source while you live in hell realms in their head. That's why they were trying to put that shit in me. They were putting hell realms in my head, called the people of Zable. I'm sorry, it's so schizophrenic, but some of the funny motherfuckers are, because it's just like they're creating these places that are very just congenial places that I've been to, like Zabars of New York, and making it into some nightmare scenario. I actually saw a young Mexican girl who was caught up in that shit. It was like an obstacle course, and I saw Alex Nascimento going after this girl as a sacrifice. And she had 3 obstacle courses. One was that where she was trapped in what appeared to be a Ross, and I saw an entity attachment of my grandmother, meaning that she's not only dead. I heard I got turned, as well as my mother here, into entity attachments as well. With this curse entity attachment machines. Anyways, I saw an entity attachment of my grandmother. Then I saw like a giant head of Alex Nascimiento's chasing after that young lady in a river. And then I forgot the third one, but I think it had something to do with turning her ancestors, which is what this curse does. It almost did it to the spiritual gangster against you, like your entity attachments of your ancestors. That's why I say don't entertain this shit, because it's going to compromise you. And I could kick Baron Samedi in the ass for tone for this shit. But anyways, the curse of the Illuminati is worse, but I'm going to tell you how to fight it. 8127 hertz gets rid of curses, as well as 8147 hertz. And the way his shit works is, I saw in the spirit plane that his ancestors got transferred. I mean, my ancestors, my family, my parents, Pauline and Linda Williams, Napoleon Williams Jr. and Linda Williams, they got transferred to my parents here. Family got transferred into his consciousness. You know, to feed off of him. And that Maria Tavares set that shit up. Talking about helping when really she was trying to hurt. And set the tone for all this shit. So they're still there, and it's hard to get them back, but you can use 694 hertz, 695 hertz, your third eye, and all that shit to be able to find them. Again, they're not as powerful as you think because they answer to the Baphomet. The Jews, they play it smart just like the Kennedys. I don't know if they do human sacrifice, but see, the Jews have something called kaparot, where, and this fucked up. I mean, I know it's a chicken, but it's fucked up. They will kill a living thing and transfer their sins unto it so that person takes on their burden. That's what the, cracker, two cracker, and one half wetback motherfucker did to me with this curse. Transfer their karma, including their drinking karma. I heard that in that August 22nd, 2022 timeline when my parents got removed from their bodies and they got taken over by ancestors and all that shit. They imposed an alcohol curse that literally changes your consciousness and your whole personality physically. It's kind of like what I saw with that girl in the homeless, in the mental hospital. She would, as if she didn't want to say it and she was fighting it, but she was forced to, because it would change something very vital in her consciousness. She was considered delusional. She would say, I'm with Bam Margera. Like she wouldn't be able to think of anything else until she says it. That's how fucked up that shit is. That's how fucked up my consciousness would be on a PCH. That's why I had them strong alcohol urges, because of Alex Nascimento. It would literally make it hard for me to think anything else until I succumbed to that drinking urge. And that's what happened with my parents. I wouldn't be able to think. It was just like that. And I had an ancestor actually help her out. Again, 7,000 hertz and or 1150 hertz can get rid of that. I had, played some of that shit for some of them patients, and it actually worked to get that shit off. They were like, thank you, and they started talking normal. So, schizophrenia, our ancestors were kind of right about this, English and all of that, when they felt that it was a spiritual affliction. They instinctively knew it. It's a lot. It's a lot that I've learned and a lot that I'm trying to retain. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and do some tarot readings. So I'm going to wrap this video up. So all of you out there, stay blessed. Peace.